speak to us on this topic. Good afternoon, Mr. Deji, or good morning. I guess it is at your time.
Yes, morning, Idris. Good morning, Idris.
Morning. Thank you so much for taking out the time to speak with us this morning, your time, and afternoon for people in Nigeria and wherever it is you're joining from in the world. I'll just read your profile briefly, and then, of course, we can get the conversation started. So, Mr. Deji is a digital transformation and agile business leader with over 24 years of progressive experience focused on portfolio, program, change, and product management. He is widely regarded as an agent of transformation and performance turnaround for individuals, project businesses, and government agencies. A well-sought-after trainer, consultant, and has authored best-selling books on project management, productivity, business, and career. He deploys his cafe model, which, of course, the long-term thinking is clarity, alignment, focus, and execution, which I'm sure we'll get a bit of in the conversation today, to help and enable breakthrough results for individuals and organizations. He served as the immediate past president of Project Management Institute of Nigeria, Nigerian chapter, the global leading project management professional association in the world. He is one of the co-founders and partners of Agile Digital College, a capacity building company operating through its integrated subsidiary units, Academy Software and Consulting. Leads a team of consultants and has trained over 50,000 professionals in the world, set up over 150 project/transformation offices in organizations, and supported product delivery in government institutions, as well as the private sector. He's a master's scholar in digital transformation from University of Hull, holds a BS in civil engineering from University of Ibadan, and has attended executive education at George Business School in Cambridge, and has a number of professional certifications, including, but of course not limited to, the program consultant roles, certified management consultant, project management professional, risk management professional, agile certified practitioner 2, Prince 2 practitioner as well, and CBAP, which is a certified business analysis professional. Thank you so much, and I'm sure that everybody on this call can obviously testify to the fact that you have done it all through the entire end to end of the value chain for project management. Thank you so much, Mr. Deji, for taking out time to speak with us. I'll just let you run through your presentation. Basic housekeeping rules, please, everyone. If you have questions or comments, you could put them in the chat box. I would read them through at certain points in the time during the course of the conversation as well. I'm sure Mr. Deji would need, feedback, and if there's anything you want to ask, you can raise up your hand, or you could just use the digital icons to react, saying something that you want to ask, and of course you would speak. But thank you so much, everyone. Mr. Deji, over to you, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Idris, for that introduction. So let me just quickly run through my slides, as in I have 1 hour to present on the modern project management in the digital era. This topic is quite interesting, and I hope I can do a crash program in the next 1 hour. So please, this presentation is going to be a bit engaging. So I'll be asking some questions, and you can go to the comment section to drop your thoughts. So like Idris rightly mentioned, my name is Deji Jemiyo, and I am very passionate about transformation. I'm passionate about project delivery. I'm passionate about managing your life even as a project, because I always tell people that really our life is a project. And I don't think most people are doing a good job managing their life as a project. So as Idris rightly mentioned, I'm a co-founder of Digital Agile College. So we do projects across the world. Currently, I'm in Canada. So we have offices in Canada, Dubai, and Lagos. So, and I was the immediate past president of the PMI Nigerian chapter. So like I made mention, we'll talk about the modern project management approach. And we all know that we are in the era of we like call it digital transformation, not just digitalization. So let me ask this question. So you can drop your comments, your thoughts in the comment section. It has been said that in today's world, that the only thing constant is what? Can you drop your comments? What is the only thing that is constant? I can see change, 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 change. Okay. So someone said God. Change, change. So let me disrupt your thoughts. So for me, it's not change. There is a new word for change in today's world. I would not say change. So I would say in today's world, disruption is the what? Is the new constant. Someone said technology, someone said transformation. But in today's digital era, the new constant is what? Disruption. So because we live in an era of disruption, and you could see the organization I've put from Tesla. Tesla is disrupting the car industry. Uber disrupted the car hailing business. Airbnb disrupted the hotel business. Netflix disrupted what? The era of video rentals. Apple disrupted the mobile industry. Coursera disrupted how we learn. PayPal disrupted how we make payments. So really, there are a lot more organizations I could also mention. So what is happening in today's world that we live in is what? Disruption. Of course, let's note, most of us that said change, we are also right, because really, disruption is a form of change, but really it's taking change to another level. So I will talk about that because that will lead to us discussing what modern project management is all about, because really we need to really start with the outcome. So really disruption is the new constant in today's world. Maybe some years ago, change was the only thing constant. So, like I said, currently I'm in Toronto. So let me hail my people. So I love this quote by the former Prime Minister that is going to resign soon. It said, "The pace of change has never been this fast, yet it will never be this slow again." So we live in a world that is full of fast-paced change. So the question is, how can you cope? That's just the truth. So really, I think what is happening is, in Nigeria, we complain a lot about the economy. We complain a lot about government. We complain a lot about what is happening. But really, I can tell you, if you can cope with change and disruption, you will not complain. That's just the truth. So the question is, how can you cope with change and disruption? So the next question is, what is disruption? I'm sure most of us want to know really what is disruption. So let me just give you a simple definition of disruption. Disruption just means a what? Significant disturbance or interruption to a normal process or system, often causing a change in the way things are done. So let's know the key thing about disruption is that it is significant. So truly, the people that are leading in the world today are people that are disrupting status quo. And I will also relate it to project management soon. So really, what is happening in the world today? And really, I think one of the things that also happened is COVID has accelerated disruption. COVID has accelerated disruption. So, and let's note, disruption is a two-way street. Disruption is a two-way street. Either you are the disruptor or you are being what? Disrupted. So the question is, who are you? Can you make your thoughts in the comment section? Are you a disruptor or you are being disrupted? Or are you both? Because let's note, what is happening now is really disruption has taken over the world. And I'm sure most of us know that most organizations are really constantly transforming. And let's note, if you don't innovate, you will do what? Go extinct. So how do you manage disruption? one of the ways to manage disruption is what we call continuous innovation. I'm going to talk about how do you now manage continuous innovation. So let me ask this question again. What's the difference between creativity and innovation? Please, can you drop comments, your thoughts in the comment section? What's the difference between creativity? Because most people mix up these two words. What's the difference between creativity and innovation? So let me see your comments. The difference between creativity and innovation, because really what is happening in today's world is that you must be innovative. Even as a professional, you must be innovative. Okay, I can see value. Creativity is building a new product or idea. Innovation is moving on the idea. Okay, creativity is making new stuff. Innovation is making old stuff in the new way. Okay, good comment, good comment. I like this. Creativity is can do. Innovation is execution. Okay, so let me just give you, because really I would not want to dive too much into innovation because of time, but let me just say this. Innovation is the commercialization of your creativity. So if you truly want to be innovative, the key thing about innovation is that you are commercializing your creativity. It can also be said to be the profitable application of creativity to drive disruption or transformation. So how can you really, I like the word somebody made mention about execution. So when you think of innovation, you're thinking of how can I really execute my creativity? Of course, I won't, like I said, I won't go deep into innovation, but let's note one of the things as professionals that you must learn is how can I improve my innovation quotient? I call it innovation quotient. And one of the ways is really applying modern project management. So I'm sure most of us know these two organizations, Google and ChatGPT. For instance, ChatGPT disrupted the search engine industry to the extent that Google had to, the founders of Google had to technically come out of retirement to really now come up with their own form of AI, their own form of GPT. So really what is constantly happening is what? Disruption. No matter how big you are as an organization, you can be disrupted. And currently, what is also now happening is what? DeepSeek. DeepSeek has even disrupted the GPT industry further because they are now somehow trying to democratize the GPT AI. So really, I can assure you that in the next few years, you are going to see more and more disruption. And you should not just be an onlooker. I think what has happened in the world today, most people are just onlookers. The question is, how can you also key in into this disruption? So let's note, businesses that thrive are those that what? Embrace what? Disruption. Challenging the status quo, reinventing processes, and delivering value faster than competition. So I'm going to focus in this presentation, I'm going to focus on how can you deliver value faster. I think okay, I could see some questions. So don't worry. At the end of the presentation, like I said, the presentation is going to be like an hour, and we are going to Idris is going to handle the Q&A session. So you can be dropping your questions, and we will talk about it later on. And I remember that someone also made mention, I think Baby Brian mentioned value. So the key thing about really disruption is also how can you deliver value faster than your competitors? So that's going to be the area of focus of this presentation. So I always say this, and it's written in one of my books, that the path to disruption lies in what? Creating a product so what? Innovative that it fundamentally changes the way people think about a problem, effectively rewriting the market rules. So really the path to disruption lies in what? Creating an innovative product. And that is why in the world today, lots of startups are ruling not even the big companies. And I also like the mandate of NESG, because really, if we truly want to transform the Nigerian economy, it speaks to more innovative products. How can we engineer disruption? And it also speaks to how can you fundamentally change the way people think about a problem. That is what the Ubers have done, the Teslas, the Google, the Alibabas. So really, I think one of the things I always say is that we should change our mentality of contract seeking in Nigeria, change our mentality of waiting for government. One of the things individuals, organizations should focus on is how can they lead disruption? How can you really create an innovative product? Because really, those are the people really leading change and disruption in the world today. So really, and let's note, for you to really deliver an innovative product, you need to focus on project delivery. So let's note, for you to deliver products, you need to implement projects. So I'm trying to, like I said, I'm starting with the outcome in mind, because modern project management is not focusing on construction, oil and gas projects. Yes, those are projects. But really, in the world we live today, if we are really thinking disruption, if we are thinking transformation, you need to really deliver innovative products. And how can you do that? You need to really work on your project delivery competencies and capabilities. So let's note project management, and in the new era, in today's world, let me put this out there. Let's note the project manager as a role is a dying role in today's digital world. The project manager's role is really a dying role. It has evolved into the product manager role, product owner role, and maybe to a lesser degree, the Scrum Master. So the question is, as a project manager, you need to also learn how to evolve into a product manager, into a product owner, or into be it a Scrum Master as an entry level. Because in the tech world, because really, if you check the top 100 companies in the world today, almost all of them are leveraging technology and driving disruption. So they are focusing more on product management. So like I put here, you can see, I will not really go too much into product management, but let's note, project deliver what? Products. Why products provide value through continuous involvement? Because let's note the product lifecycle starts with project lifecycle, but is beyond project lifecycle. So this is just to demonstrate and give you a visual representation of what project and product is all about. So the next question is, what is a project? So can you drop your thoughts on what is a project in the comment section? What is a project? Because really, like I said earlier, let's note the biggest project you ever manage is your life project. There is no bigger or better project than your life project. So in your thoughts, in your words, what is a project? Please, can you drop comments? In your thoughts, in your words, what is a project? Someone said a time-bound activity with expected results. Good one. Any other thoughts? What is a project? The process of delivering value through a set of activities that has a beginning and end. Good. An activity with an objective, timeline, and budgets. Good, good. Any other thoughts? A project is any kind of human activity with expected value chain. Nice one, nice one. So really, I can see different definition of a project, even according to, so let me first of all give the definition according to PMI. That's the global body as in like regulating or promoting best practices in project management. It says a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. I also think, so let me give you a simpler definition of a project, and we're going to somehow break it down for us to really know what a project is before we go into the details. So let's note, as in my own definition of project is that one, of course, some of us mentioned it about beginning and end. So let's note a project is a temporary setup mandated to deliver a unique predefined output, which brings about beneficial changes or added value that satisfy the needs or solve the problems or exploit the opportunity for an entity. A project output is delivered by coordinating a set of interrelated project tasks within specific yet flexible project constraints. So let me just break this down. Let's note, a project is a temporary setup, not just with timeline alone. With any form of resources, it's temporary, be it the office space, be it the people, be it the budget, be even the exposure to risk. So most often, we'll define a project as a what? A temporary setup. So the goal is to really deliver a predefined output. And lesson in today's world, projects should focus more on what we call outcomes than the outputs. So projects should focus more on outcomes. Because what happens in most projects in Nigeria is that, so let me ask this question. If someone was to build maybe a facility, maybe be it hospital or a school, and the contractor has delivered the project, but the project's output is not in use, is it a successful project? House, is it a successful project? So let's assume now that you've, because this happens a lot in Nigeria, whereby somebody has been mobilized to deliver a project. But at the end of the day, the contractor delivered the project, but the project is not in use. That is not a success, it's a failed project. So really, one of the things we need to focus on in the modern project management is what we call outcomes. An outcome focus on what? Satisfying a business need, solving problems, or exploiting opportunities. So beyond just focusing on delivering the outputs, what are the expected outcomes? So let me move on. And let's note, in project management, one of the goals of project management is to manage competing project constraints. In every project, you have constraints, no matter how large the project or no matter who is delivering or working on any project anywhere in the world, we have what is called project constraints. A project constraints are just things that limit our options. So that you must only recruit from a particular school, or you must only even recruit people with some set of degrees. All those things are constraints. If you are being given a budget by your management, it's a constraint. So let's note, so the job of the project manager is to manage these competing constraints. So we have the constraint of scope, schedule, budget, risk, resources, and even quality. So the job of the project manager is to manage these competing constraints. So another question for the house. Yes, I'm liking the interaction in the comment section. Is there two main types of work in organization? The two main types of work in organization can be classified into what and what? Any thoughts? The two main types of works in organization can be classified into any thoughts? Skilled and unskilled. Good comment. Any other thoughts? I think we are very creative. Back of it and front of it. Okay, I leave our good project and operation strategic. Okay, good. Good. Operational, good. Good. Good thoughts. Good thoughts. Okay. Okay. Admin and ops. Okay, good. So let's note, of course, there are other types of work. I won't go into that, but the two main type of works in organization are project work and operation works. Projects. So let's note, every day most organizations have operations they do. That is sometimes we call it BAU, your business as usual, work. So you have the customer service people always on the call. You have the teller, like somebody said about the ops people. So those are operational work. But then again, in today's world, if you don't work on projects, and I think someone mentioned strategic. Yes. So to implement your strategic objectives, you need to work on project works. So in organizations today, you have two types of works. You have the operation works and the project work. I can tell you there is no organization that is thriving or even surviving that don't have these two types of works: operation works and project works. And let's note, like I put here, operations what is you are exploiting your current offerings. You have what is called a business model you are currently operating through your operating model. So that is your operations. But really, if you want to remain sustainable and you want to thrive, you need to implement your strategies. You need to take advantage of opportunities. You need to solve problems. You need to deliver your business needs. You need to explore projects. So we are going to now focus on projects. Today, we are not going to focus on operations, but let's note, in every organization, you are either working on operations work or project work. And let's note, your project work is linked majorly to your strategic objectives. So, like I put here, operation works is what? Ongoing and repetitive. So don't worry, I think I will share the slides with the team, with Idris and Ekunda. Will share the slides, and I think maybe they could share it with people on this call. So we have the operation works and the project work. So like we know, projects are temporary and unique. Operation work is ongoing and repetitive. Of course, they are delivered by people constrained by resources. They must be planned, executed, and what? Controlled. So then again, I mentioned there is what project works and operation works. Then in project works, there is further divided into definable work and high uncertainty work. So project work is now further divided into definable work and high uncertainty work. So for definable work, this just speaks to, let me just make it very simple. Maybe you are building your house, be it in Lagos, Abuja, anywhere in the world. So those kind of stuff that is, the scope is clear, it is predictable, clear requirements, repetitive work that, okay, something that you've maybe, let's assume you are into construction, it's something you've been doing. You are into event planning, that what you just do, you plan weddings. All those are definable work because the scope is clear. This is still the most popular work in Nigeria, whereby people work on definable work regarding their projects. But in today's world that we live in, if you want to drive disruption, what you are going to focus on is the high uncertainty work. This is that the scope is not clear. We have what is called evolving requirements from what we can see with AI. Because what has really happened is AI is disrupting the market. And really, AI is not really new, but people are just taking advantage of it now. Likewise, in any other space. So really, most technology-based projects, most software-based projects are really high uncertainty work. And also, let's note, if we are really trying to solve a problem in a unique way, like we've been saying earlier about disruption, that you are trying to like redefine the market rules. You are working on high uncertainty work. And like I put here, high uncertainty work refers to projects or tasks that have a high degree of complexity, innovation, or unpredictability. In this project, requirement, outcomes, and paths to success are not clear from start and may evolve over time. So we're going to talk about how things will evolve. So I've mentioned this, so we're going to still break some of this down. I'm trying to manage my time because I still have my slides are still quite there. So I want to deliver this presentation in an hour. So like I've made mention, definable work. So please note, in organization, we have both operation works and project works. Then project work is further, let me use project management word, decomposed into definable work and high uncertainty work. Another definable work, requirement and scope are clear. You are planning a retreat. This is something HR has been doing. It is a project, it is clear. But for high uncertainty work, requirement and scope keeps evolving. And let's note, on a lighter note, imagine you are trying to solve, let me use the word loosely, corruption in Nigeria. What kind of project is that? Please comment. Will it be definable work or high uncertainty work? Imagine you've been appointed the project manager to solve corruption in Nigeria. What is that? Okay, high uncertainty. Good. So let's know. So I'm trying to make us, so imagine again, you've been, the governor of Lagos State has called you to see how you can solve the traffic situation in Lagos. What kind of project is that? It's still high uncertainty. But imagine you are working on an oil and gas project. What kind of project is that? That is definable work. So please, you need to know what kind of project you are on. Is it definable? When the scope and requirements are very clear, is what? Definable. And when you are also, again, when you have also done it before, when you have like an historical data on most of this thing is what? And when is really not driving innovation, let's note, when you are driving any form of innovation, of course, it's not an innovation class, but there are different forms of innovation, is really you're speaking to high uncertainty work that has some bit of unpredictability. You are really, or when the risk is very high, that you are not sure. So let's imagine now you are trying to, let's look at, who can give me some example of high uncertainty projects in Nigeria? Can you share what are your thoughts on the different types or examples of high uncertainty projects? Your thoughts on high uncertainty projects. Because we have them around us. Can you think about examples of high uncertainty work? Any thoughts? Good. Imagine someone is trying to solve the power problem, maybe disrupting the pricing model. Good. Introduction, national air carrier, yes. Driving pen, good. Disaster management, mining, correct. Good. As in these are all wonderful projects. Mining, yeah. Disaster management, driving program penetration. So yeah, correct. So these are examples. Introduction of new vaccine, yes. So any form of R&D, let's note any form of R&D, research and development project, they will fall into the high uncertainty work. And let's note, from the beginning of this presentation, I was talking about disruption. So disruption will fall in under what? High uncertainty work. And let's note, that is what we are going to talk about in this presentation. So I'm just trying to give this presentation a structure so that when you are thinking after this presentation that, okay, what did I really learn? So we've spoken about disruption because really that is the world we live in today. The digital era is really about driving disruption. So please, let's note, anytime you are coming up with a product or a service, because I think in Nigeria, all of us, most people want to become startup founders, they want to start a business. Please think disruption. Don't just do the norm. Like what is happening, I'm trying to localize this thing to Nigeria because I can see most people on this call are from Nigeria, is that like what happened in our fintech space, everybody is doing almost similar things. There is no real disruption. And that's why most startups struggle. So for you to really achieve quantum leaps, you must think disruption. You must think disruption. And that now speaks to unpredictability, requirements evolving. You must do a lot of experimentation. You must do a lot of innovation. So let me now move on to explaining how can you lead disruption, how can you lead high uncertainty work. Let's note that really two types of approaches to managing projects in today's world. We have the traditional project management approach and the agile project management approach. So like I put here, it's all about old wine in a new bottle. It's still almost the same approach, but what has happened is that is now, in today's world, you are now focusing on really leading, managing high uncertainty work. What has happened is that the old approach of managing projects, the traditional approach focused on working on what? Definable work. So please, if you have questions, just drop it in the comment section. Just drop it in the comment section because, well, really, like I said, I still have some minutes to really like break this thing down because I won't go into details, but I'm just trying to make us have a structured approach to learning. So let's understand, if you want to drive disruption, you must focus on the agile project management approach. And that is the high uncertainty work. But if you are doing the definable work, like we do a lot in Nigeria, that is still the era of the traditional approach. But truly, what we need in Nigeria to really drive the economy, because really we are speaking on the platform of NESG, is that we need to drive high uncertainty work. And I think in Nigeria, we don't understand it. That is the truth. Because I've had a lot of engagements back home, is that we've not really understood how to really drive this high uncertainty work. Most people are still using the traditional approach to manage high uncertainty work, and it's not going to work. I'm going to tell you why it's not going to work. So let's note, let me just give you the high-level difference between the traditional approach and the agile approach. So we have the sequential. I'm still going to break it down later on. We have the sequential approach for the traditional approach. And we have so agile speaks to the iterative or incremental approach. I'm going to explain all of this later on. In a feature that is a baseline in project management is flexibility. But for traditional approach is what rigid and difficult to change. For the agile approach is highly adaptable. During traditional approach, the planning is detailed and upfront. The planning is detailed and upfront in the traditional approach. But in the agile approach, because even you are not even, what happened in agile is that, like we've said about high uncertainty work and disruption, you don't even understand the requirement. The scope is not too clear. So the planning is ongoing and evolving. So for delivery, traditional is one time at the end. So you deliver a house. Even sometimes, even some clients will say, just deliver the project. I don't know how you want to go about it. Deliver it. So just give me the keys. I'll just walk into the venue. So that is traditional. But for agile, it is frequent, iterative, and there is a lot of collaboration among stakeholders in agile. So there must be constant, continuous collaboration. But in traditional approach is limited to the start and at the end. And that is why you have lots of challenge projects in Nigeria. You will see some projects, some of us, I'm sure you must have seen something, you wonder that, did they think at all? Or did they really involve the stakeholders? So in risk management, in traditional approach is addressed early on, or they don't even do risk management in traditional approach like that practically in Nigeria. But risk management is in agile, it is managed throughout the project. The team structure in traditional is hierarchical, whereby in agile it is flat, it is self-organizing, and it's cross-functional, it crosses across different functional units. Documentation in traditional is comprehensive. In agile, it is minimal. So I'm going to dive more to explain most of these things. But like I said, because of our timeline, we won't go deep into some of them, but you could ask your questions later on. So let me just speak to why traditional is not really working, especially in the world we live today, in the digital era. And you know, the funny thing is that most people are not even doing traditional project management approach well. And that is why projects are challenging Nigeria. Let's note, I always say this, to drive transformation in Nigeria, in any organization, is not by prayers or by hoping. And I always say this, hope is not a strategy. You must deliver transformation or change through projects. And I always say this, project management, it's a life skill for any professional. So most people are even struggling with traditional approach, talk less of the modern approach. So the limitation of traditional approach is one, slow time to market. So you can see that the rate of change is crazy in the world we live today. The rate of change is crazy. So, and that is why most companies are struggling, even globally. So if you want to quickly deliver your products, you want to engage the market, compete. And let's note, are you aware that? So let me ask you, you can make comments you can share your thoughts in the comment section. Is there any global indigenous Nigerian company, global? Can you mention any global indigenous company that you know? Global means that they can use their product or service anywhere in the world. If you mention their name somewhere in downtown China, they know them. If you mention their name in Brazil, they will know the name of that company. Can you mention any indigenous Nigerian company that is global? Any thoughts? You know, you know, I always say this. Every presentation I learn new stuff. Somebody said something, RCCG. and really, let's note, you are not. Yeah, yeah, I think if you want to say it's global, technically, I would, but you know, RCCG is not a business, not really a business. So, of course, somebody said none. Which one? Makers of Island tea. Even some of us on this call don't know Island tea. Talk less of somebody in in Kuwait. Seplat. Nobody knows Seplat. If I mention Seplat down my road now, I'm in Toronto here. Nobody will know Seplat. Really, let's be sincere. Currently, we do not have a global player. Global players are companies like Google, Coca-Cola, Netflix, Apple, Samsung, Hyundai. All those are global players. And let's know there is no global player still operating the traditional project management approach. There is no global player. Because what we are talking about is you need to engage the market fast. You need to get feedback from your customer. You need to deliver value fast. And that is one of the major challenges of Nigerian businesses. Slow time to market. I'm sure some of us have heard of what this brand, this popular fast fashion brand in China. Who can tell me? I've forgotten the name. Nestle is not a Nigerian company. Nestle is a global brand, but it's not a Nigerian company. Sorry, there is this popular Shein. Sorry, yeah, is it Shein or Shein? I know that. So all these kind of brands that one of the things they do is their time to market is so crazy. So if you really want to compete in today's world, you must really shorten your time to market. And traditional project management is slow time to market. It's too rigid in the structure. There is also limited customer involvement and high risk of failure. So on a lighter, can you tell me the first two mobile manufacturers in the world, as in they have the highest number of phones in the world? Let me see we get the top two. Phone manufacturers, as in mobile phone manufacturer. So somebody saying Huawei and this. Okay. Which one is number one? So put number one, number two. Samsung and Huawei, Apple, Huawei, Samsung, yes. So Techno care. iPhone 1, Huawei. Do you know that most of us don't know? Google it. As in, the number one phone company in the world is Samsung. The number two used to be Apple. Is Xiaomi now. What they call them, Xiaomi. If you go and Google, of course, maybe that was as at end of last year. I don't know about this year, but from the last data I know, the number two company that has overtaken Apple is Xiaomi. And one of the things, because I watch a lot of documentary on how startup evolve into unicorns, is that one of the things they do so well is customer involvement. So in the traditional approach, there is no real continuous feedback. So, and that is why in my next slide, you will see the power of agile project management. Of course, somebody, okay, because I'm correct. So somebody mentioned, I can say agile approach is similar features as human-centric design in behavioral science. Correct? Yes, it's similar. But behavior is more subjective. So one of the things agile has also done is regarding projects, but you are correct. Okay, Musa is saying Samsung, Apple, Techno. Techno is not even in top 10. I think Techno is only in Nigerian, as in Africa, but Techno is not even in top 10. So really the power of Agile is that the faster iteration is flexible. I'm going to talk about how Agile drive transformation in the next slide. So what Agile focus on is what? Faster iteration, reduce risks and waste, empower team and collaboration, flexibility and adaptability, customer-centric development. So how Agile for disruptive innovation? I've been talking about disruption. So it focuses on you failing fast. One of the things Agile does well is that it makes you really pivot fast. You should not wait until the end of, because really I've heard some people have startups that they wasted lots of money doing planning, implementing it, and the product or the service or the company fails within 6 months. A friend was still calling me some days ago that started a restaurant business in Lekki Phase 1. After spending close to 100 million, he shut it down in less than 6 months. So that if he's used the Agile approach, he wouldn't have done that. So an Agile is also value-driven. One of the key elements of Agile is speed to market. Agile enables faster product releases than competitors, and also collaboration and also resilience. Because these are data. So I'm going to move fast so that I can cover, I have some minutes left. So what is Agile? I've been talking about Agile, and like we note. So let's note Agile, it's more of a mindset than practices. I'm going to talk about the definition soon. But one of the things Agile does, like I put there, is Agile liberates the innovative spirit that most organizations stifle. What has happened is that if we truly want to turn things around in Nigeria, we need to drive innovation. We need to drive innovation. And we need to do less focus on government. That is the truth. So the economy must be driven by organizations that promote innovation, not government rentals. I think in this part of in Nigeria, we focus much on government rental as in trying to get government contract and co. You need to drive innovation. And Agile liberates that innovation spirit. So what is Agile? Let me give you the definition of Agile. This is one of my best definitions of Agile. Of course, there are a lot of definitions out there, but this one captures what Agile is all about. Agile is a mindset defined by values, guided by principles, and manifested through many different practices. So let's note, you can write it down because this definition will help you understand what Agile is all about. Agile is a what? Mindset defined by values, guided by principles, and manifested through many different practices. So we have it as a mindset. Then values is how you demonstrate it through your behavior. And then there are what? Principles guiding you. And then it is manifested through many different practices. So what we really see at the front end, let me use somebody's words in the comment section, talk about front end and back end. In the front end, you are seeing the practices. You are seeing the Scrum Master, you are seeing the Kanban, you are seeing the different practices. But really, the foundation of Agile speaks to mindsets. Then it's described by the value. I want to share the values now, and also defined by principles. I hope it's clear. So you could write your questions later on. So it's a mindset defined by values, guided by principles. So for me, I always tell people that learning is by repetition. So what I'm repeating is that I want it to really sink in. That Agile is a what? Mindset defined by values, guided by principles, and manifested through many different practices. So really, the foundation of Agile is from the manifesto. It focuses on what is called the Agile values. That's what are the things important? How do you drive the right behaviors? So we have these values. I will just run through them. So it focuses on what? Responding to change. That you must be flexible in responding to change. You must not just say, sometimes some of us, especially programmers, I always have issues with most programmers that I always tell them that they need to have agile mindsets. They don't like changes, or even sometimes maybe on projects or any form of project, not just tech projects, is that when you must be able to, you must embrace change if you want to focus on it. That no matter how good you've got, no matter how far you've gone, or how good your planning has gone, or how much time you've invested, you must learn to respond to change. And in Agile, we focus more on what? Individual and interaction, rather than processes and tools. So in Agile, the focus is on individual interactions. And also you are focusing on a working solution rather than a perfect solution. So you're not waiting until the end. So most of us like things to be done very well. And like I always tell people, if you check most of the big solutions out there, WhatsApp was not like this when it started. Instagram was not like this. Even there is no product in today's world that. So what they've done is that it is evolving. Even constantly, they're updating. And that's what I speak to about the continuous innovation. Then there is customer collaboration. There's also customer collaboration, not focused on contract negotiation. I'm just giving the high level. So also what is called the 12 agile principles. Of course, they're stated there. Like I said, I will share the slides. So let me just run through the slide. So it's focused on customer satisfaction, embracing change, frequent delivery, collaboration, empowering teams. And agile is not a lover of remote. Agile really focus on face-to-face communication. It constantly measure progress. There is sustainability development, technical excellence, simplicity, self-organizing teams, and continuous improvement. So this Stacy complexity matrix is just to show what it means to move from the traditional approach to the agile approach. Really, one of the things agile does is it tries to solve chaos. You can say a good example of disruption and managing, just that because of the time, because I like sharing a lot of case studies, it's just that we can't do that in this kind of section, is that we need to focus on a good case study is Uber. How Uber disrupted the car hailing or taxi business. If you go and watch, there are a lot of documentaries on YouTube. There was even, they were doing, it was like organized chaos, how they tried to solve it, how they tried to manage regulators. This was a whole lot of stuff. So, but if you really want to do the simple predictive planning, that you are almost sure of what you are trying to get, that the requirement is clear, that is the predictive planning. That speaks to the traditional approach. So let me run. So in the project life cycle, we have really four types of project life cycle. We have the iterative one. We have the incremental, predictive, and agile. So the predictive speaks to what we know currently. That's the traditional project management. Agile really is a combination of iterative and incremental. So let me just explain what iterative and incremental means, because like I said, I will share the slide so you can read through, and we can even continue the conversation after the presentation. So iterative speaks to how things are managed in different, we call it sprints in Agile, whereby you don't wait until the final product. You do like what is called MVP. MVP speaks to the minimum viable products that let customer use it. Let's even do, so let me make it as simple as, imagine you are trying to build a house. And somebody, first of all, will do a sketch. You know, that would be like a sketch. Then the architect will do the sketch, you agree, you move to the design, and then they will now even do like a 3D for you. that you will see how you move into your kitchen, to your bedroom, how everything looks before they now go into the real implementation. That speaks to iterative. Of course, incremental speaks to you saying, I'm going to be delivering the different phases of the project in small bits too, but it's not focusing on the total picture. So I'm going to still go further to explain, but let's note, Agile now speaks to you combining these two things together, combining iterative and incremental. So predictive, we've spoken about it already. That is the traditional approach. It follows what is called a waterfall. Iterative, like I said, is about improving a product or solution through repeated cycle, refining through feedback without delivering the full product at once. This is an example of iterative model. Then incremental, like I said, in small bits, you divide it into, we call it, in project management, you call something work breakdown structure. You decompose into manageable chunks, and you just focus on each segment per time. Then Agile, like I said earlier, is a blend of both iterative and incremental approaches. So really, you don't need to say, I want to do iterative or incremental, really. You need, today's world, you need to combine the two. And it's focused on iterative feedback, adaptability, incremental delivery, you can see. So the two things are there, and also team collaboration. So these are to give you a simple, structured understanding of the different types. So I'm going to run through. So let me just quickly speak to the key Agile terminologies. So you have iterations. So we call this sprints. So you should divide work into manageable chunks. And most often, the most popular length of timeline for sprint is 2 weeks. So this is just to have what is called, there is this book called Deep Work. It's also a very good book for any professional to read about really concentrated work for a short period of time. So you need to, because sprint allows for quick productivity and high performance. So you divide work into sprints. Then there what is called backlog. So in Agile, you don't hear of work plan. You don't hear of your Gantt charts. You don't hear of all those kind of stuff. What you hear in Agile is backlog. Backlog just speaks to the list of work items, be it, let me just call it like a form of, let me break it down to make it simple, like a form of to-do, but it focus on the features, bugs. And let's note, the world we live in today is a technology world. So if your business or your organization is not embracing technology and software, you are still in the old era. That's the truth. And every professional must have, you don't need to be a programmer. You don't need to be an AI data scientist. But you need to have an understanding of how technology works, of how AI works. And luckily, there are a lot of information out there. So if you're a project person, you can go to PMI. PMI has PMI Infinity that speaks to Agile. There are a lot of information on PMI global website, pmi.org, that speaks to you learning Agile. There are a lot of free information, especially for members. So you can join that platform because you could have access to a lot of information. So please, I want us to really change our mindsets. Like I said, Agile is a what? Is a mindset. So we need to embrace, don't just say, this is AI thing, I don't care, I don't understand, it's not my thing, I'm not a tech person. In today's world, you need to learn. So we have what is called backlog. We then have what is called user stories. Like in Agile, like I said, is more focused on the modern project management approach, whereby you are focusing on the customer. So you are trying to really understand what does the customer want. So, and you now crystallize that into what is called user story. So there is a format that everybody must use to deliver a user story. As a user, I want the goal so that the benefits. So you can see the benefit focus on what I said earlier about outcomes. Earlier I was talking about the definition of project management. So you need to focus on outcomes. So that's the example. Then there is a product owner. So this is the person responsible for delivering what is stated in the backlog and prioritizing the business value. You can see that in Agile, you will not see the concept of project manager. Like I said, the project manager role, not the project management as a profession, the role as a project manager is a dying role. It has evolved into the product owner role or the product manager role. Then there is a scrum master. This is more or less what we call in project management, the project coordinator. This person is just to facilitate meetings, facilitate engagements. Because in Agile focuses on that teams must be self-managed, that you don't need to micromanage teams. Of course, really, I need to be sincere. Implementing Agile in Nigeria can be quite demanding. It's not impossible. I can tell you why it can be quite demanding. Is that most of our team members, or what we call in HR, individual contributors, most people are not competent enough or committed enough. Because for you to really practice Agile, you need to have competent and committed workforce. And those two things, they are rare to find in Nigeria. Competent and committed. Some are not committed, some are not even committed. Some are competent, not committed. Some are committed, not competent. So for you to truly drive agility, you need to have a competent and committed workforce. So because they are self-managed, nobody is micromanaging them. Nobody is saying so they are the ones even coming up with, so after every stand-up meeting, so I've talked about some of the ways to manage Agile projects. So let's also talk about velocity. This speaks to focusing on the work to be done. Then you have the key concept. We've spoken about all of this before now. Iterative development, customer-centric approach, cross-functional teams, continuous improvement. So continuous improvement speaks to Kaizen and incremental delivery. So common Agile practices. We have daily stand-up meeting. So one of the key elements of Agile is that your team must meet daily, not weekly. Because just it's a short meeting, whereby, of course, most often is in the morning, whereby but in my organization, we do it in the evenings. But every day, you must meet, whereby you are telling us what you did yesterday, what you plan to do, and your challenges. So that drives accountability, transparency, and results. So that is what is called daily stand-up meetings. Then there must be sprint planning. That's every sprint, like I said, sprint is majorly that, okay, this time period, what are we trying to deliver? So you must plan it. Of course, using your backlog. Then there is sprint review. After the end of every sprint, you must do a review. Then there's also retrospective. That just speaks to lessons learned. How do we improve? So let's note, Agile started from team, like software teams. Now it has permeated into every facet in the organization, whereby now that what is called the enterprise agility. So all the companies today, the big companies, they've gone through what is called agile transformation, whereby now the organization beyond projects, the way they operate. So, like I mentioned, there are two types of work in organization. There is the project work and the operations work. So organizations now have scaled Agile throughout the organization. So even the enterprise level, that even the finance people are operating through Agile. So let's note, Agile started from software, moved into project management. Now it has cut across the entire organization. So you have the four, this is the most popular Agile frameworks and methods. You have the Scrum, Kanban, Lean, and Extreme Programming for the guys. So this is it. So let me end this presentation. Like I said, we'll do Q&A. Let's note, if you are not at the table, you are on the menu. And why am I saying this? I know that in Nigeria, we complain a lot about the government, about what is happening, but really, you need to, if you can drive disruption, of course, that means that you are delivering innovative products and services, you are not going to be on anybody's menu. On a lighter note, people that were on the table are people that attended, in Nigerian context, people that are on the table are people that attended the IBB book launch. Most Nigerians are on the menu on a lighter note. But like I said, you don't need to be on anybody's menu. And let's note, it's not by jackpine, because I travel a lot, so I'm really more based in Nigeria, but currently I'm in Toronto. I'll be back home in like 2-3 weeks time. It's that even if you jackpot, if you are not driving disruption, you are on the menu. There's not. 90% of people that have jackpot are glorified, let me use Nigeria word, housemates, glorified housemates, but there are 7. So please, you must drive disruption. And the easy way to drive disruption, really, that the competence you can acquire is this modern project management approach to delivering innovative products. Any question? Thank you so much for your time and for paying attention, because I can see you are paying attention, and you can see my email there and my number. And I'm always, be it in Lagos, Ontario, or Dubai. So thank you so much. Over to you, Idris. And you can put your questions out there on the comment section, or Idris can facilitate the engagement. So over to you, Idris.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I've literally just been writing all through. This has been a great session, and I'm sure that a lot of the people feel the same way. Wonderful session, sir. Thank you. So for questions, please just drop your questions in the chat box. I would read the questions out so Mr. Deji could respond. I know we had the question earlier from Musa Maigari. Okay, so whilst more questions come in, let me just read this first question. His question, sir: how can organizations, business industries, or companies continue to leverage the newly emerging technologies in managing their project management work, especially in this modern digital transformation era? Okay, that sounds like a mouthful, but that's the first question that is here.
Wait, so can you repeat? Sorry, Idris, can you repeat?
Okay, so the question is, how can organizations, business industries, or companies continue to leverage the newly emerging technologies in managing their project management work, especially in this modern digital transformation era?
So there is this quote. Let me respond to that by saying this quote: that the illiterate of the 21st century are those that refuse to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So the first thing that an organization must do is to really increase the competency level or proficiency level of their workforce. So it could be due to this kind of sessions or trainings, or because it even starts from leadership. I think most of our business leaders need to be educated first. I think for me, even beyond the people implementing the project, I think what has happened in Nigeria is that most of our business leaders are not too interested in learning. They are focused on making money. So I think because if we want to drive this new approach to delivery of project and product. You need to learn it. And let's note, Agile must start from the top. That's the truth. So that's why we are having, because like I said, we drive, and that's why our name of our business is Agile Digital College. We are driving Agile, as in that's why we even focus on that. But really, I can tell you this, in Nigeria, it's quite difficult driving Agile. I need to be sincere. It's quite difficult driving Agile. Why? Is that the business leaders are not too interested in really acquiring that knowledge. Even it can be as simple as this kind of session that we had, that, okay, let people say, okay, what's the next step? The next step really starts with even doing like all this kind of, because for me, change starts from the mind. And like I said, Agile is more of a mindset than practices, than implementing tools. So what happens to some organizations that they will implement some softwares, like they will implement some software like Jira, all this kind of, no. It starts with renewing your mind with the right information, then putting some structures on ground regarding training. So most organizations, even the global companies, they've all undergone Agile transformation. They've all undergone Agile transformation. So it starts with education, and then it starts with also putting the systems in place and piloting it with some project teams. So like I said, Agile will start with teams, but truly, if any organization wants to compete globally, really, Agile is the foundation. And like we've seen about time to market, about customer collaboration, stakeholders collaboration, and like I said, in Nigeria, we have organizations that have lots of money to go global, but because of the structure on ground, they can't grow global. I think I've answered that question. It starts with the what's it called? It starts with the mindsets, training, equipping them, not just formal certification training, this kind of sessions, is now cutting across the different functional units in any organization. Okay, good.
Okay, sir. There is a question here, but it's not just on the topic. But someone says, "Thanks for the insightful presentation. I'm considering taking the PMP. However, I am concerned about the implications for my career growth since there are other industry-focused certifications I want to take."
Yeah, so PMP is also a very good course to take. And like I said earlier, project management is a life skill. Project management is a life skill for any professional, not just somebody managing technical projects. But like you made mention, you said, I'm also reading it concerning the implication for my career growth. So you can create a plan. Like I said, your life is a project on its own. So what you should just do is to create a simple agile plan whereby, okay, these first 3 months, maybe you have some industry focused certification that you want to do. So just create a plan. You might not do the PMP this year, it might be next year, but just create a plan. I always say this, hope is not a strategy. I think what has happened to most people is that we are very hopeful, but you need to come up with a strategy. Strategy speaks to your choices that, okay, I want to start with my industry-focused certifications. So just create a simple plan and then live by it. Be disciplined, be dedicated. Like I said earlier, the major challenge we have in Nigeria is competence and commitment. And even that commitment speaks to you as an individual, as a professional, to say that, no, I must get things done. So, Osumo, I can see that you were the one that wrote this thing. So please, you can start with your industry focus certification. Then later on, you can see how you can impute PMP into it. But it's a good one to have. I can say that.
Thank you, sir. There is a question here. Please, what is the name of the platform you mentioned that one can join?
Platform. When did I mention what kind of platform? I can't really remember because I saw that.
I think it was a PMI platform that you had mentioned.
Okay, yeah. So PMI.org. PMI. Okay, so let me just put it. So you can go on, let me just put it, let me just type it out on PMI.org. So there is PMI Infinity. So I'll put it out there so you can check it out. So that speaks to using AI to drive project management. So I think there are a lot of resources out there. And you can even join PMI and become a member so you can have access to more free resources on the platform.
Okay, so I can't see any other question here. I think there was a question on when next are we going to have another session. We hold our webinars every month, so you can just follow us on all our social media channels for when the next webinar would hold. And for some of these webinars we've also held in the past, if you check our social media channels, you would find snippets from those sessions there, as well as on our website. So I just shared that in the chat. A repeat of this same session will be most welcome. Okay. Please remember to send the slides. All right, all duly noted. Would definitely communicate when next we're looking to have either this same session and the modality for sharing any documents for this. I don't know if anyone else has any question, any comment, any feedback, anything else you want to add. Okay. In the absence of any question, thank you so much, Mr. Deji, for your time. This has been an absolutely educative and insightful session. We are grateful. We do not take your time or your expertise for granted. And to everyone who also joined, thank you so much also for joining and making this an engaging conversation. We would just follow us on all our social media channels. We would share information from time to time on the next sessions we'll be having, and what the topics for those ones will also be, and the themes. And then you can also read through our website for any of the things we've also done in the past. Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.
All right,
Thank you.
bye, everyone. All right, take care.